My mom told me I was replaceable while I was fighting for my life in a hospital bed, and I've never been more thankful. There's a high chance you won't make it tonight, the doctor warned me, encouraging me to say my final words, and she did. You shouldn't look so worried. Even if you don't make it, your husband's handsome and successful. He'll find another housewife easily enough, she told me in a casual tone. But against all odds, I survived. I did it. My mom visited me once more before I got discharged. Well, she said, eyeing me down, I guess I'm just disappointed. If you had died peacefully, the money your grandparents gave would finally go back to me, and your husband could find someone much better. We all would have won. Maybe next time. Her words stung. Next time? She wanted me to be in this much pain again? How could a mother be so cruel? When I got home, I cried to my husband Phil over everything. She's wrong about you, he said. There's no one more talented, patient, and kind as you. You're an incredible wife and even better mother. I'm the one who's lucky to have you. He planted a kiss on my head and hugged me tight. I was happy having his support, but lying in that hospital bed had made me want so much more. I needed to get back on my feet and work and do something with my life, so I started studying for my real estate license while the kids napped. I passed on my second try and immediately started looking for agencies that would take me on, but it wasn't easy. The first 3 said I didn't have enough experience. The 4th said they weren't hiring. The 5th told me to come back when my kids were older, but I didn't give up. I'd wake up at 5 in the morning to study listings before the kids woke up, and I'd practice my pitch while making lunch. Phil encouraged me, but I could see the concern in his eyes when agency number 8, 9, and 10 all turned me down too. I started putting the kids in daycare 3 days a week just to show up to interviews. When my mom heard about it, she was furious. You're wasting money on daycare for what? So you can play businesswoman? She asked. My poor grandkids have to deal with your selfishness. But I wasn't fazed. Then finally, after months of rejections, an agency said yes, but only if I could bring my own clients. And that was a huge problem. I didn't have any clients. I showed up to my first open house and stood there for 3 hours with not a single person walking through the door. My second open house had 2 people show up and both left within 5 minutes. At my 3rd showing, the couple told me they were going with someone more established. I sat in my car afterward and genuinely wondered if my mom was right. Then another agency called me back and said they'd take a chance on me, train me, supply me clients. I worked harder than I'd ever worked in my life, and 3 months later, I sold my first property. The commission check felt like winning the lottery. Then I sold a second property the same week, then a third. My husband Phil and I were thrilled and decided to use the check to celebrate with the entire family, and my mom was not happy. At that dinner, she rolled her eyes every time Phil complimented me, and when he stepped away to handle a call from work, my mom threw her spoon at me and said, "Don't get arrogant. You're a bad mother, and your income isn't even steady. What happens when the market crashes?" So I took things a step further. I used the rest of my earnings to buy a small fixer-upper and spent 6 months learning to renovate it myself. But once it was completed, I sold it for $60,000 in profit, and I used that to help me buy another property to rent out. I kept flipping and renting all year until the passive income was enough to cover our mortgage, then enough to cover all our bills, then enough that I didn't need to actively work anymore if I didn't want to. And that's what I did. I went back to being a full-time mom, but this time with rental properties that paid off everything else. My mom couldn't call me a bad mother anymore, because now I was there for every soccer game and piano recital while my investments did the work for me. Then last night, she finally called me. "I was wrong about you," she said, but her voice seemed angry and hurt. "Must feel nice knowing you're better than me and all the other women out there, huh?" I paused. "You know what, Mom? You failed at being a mother. You failed at finding your own success, and you definitely failed at being kind, but it's never too late. You could still figure out what makes you happy instead of tearing down everyone else." She went quiet for a long moment. "I don't know how," she finally whispered, and for the first time she sounded small and lost instead of cruel. We talked for another hour that night, and she told me things about her own mother I'd never heard before, and somehow it made us closer.